vowed to himself that till I get back what I lost, I'm going to sleep on coarse grass. I see a lot of parallels, Smita, with what Saddam Hussein, he lost the first Gulf War. And so in the process, he was writing these letters to Zaman Shah, the Afghan ruler, come and invade India. Over 2 years, let's, flush out the Kafirs from north and south, and then let's unite and form a Islamic caliphate, divide the whole subcontinent among ourselves. French governor there. It comes out as a Malartic proclamation, where clearly the deal is we will help Tipu to flush the British out of India and invade and, make it ours. And out of the 10,000 that were promised, only 99 actually make their way back to Srirangapatna. Even then he doesn't realize.
He underwent a whole lot of cruelty at the hands of his father.
Yeah.
Now he's a father and he has to give up his sons to the British.
Yeah.
How do you think that impacted him?
Very badly. I think he took it so personally, and so after that, it said he never slept on his royal bed. He said he vowed to himself that till I get back what I lost, I'm going to sleep on coarse grass. I see a lot of parallels, Smita, with what Saddam Hussein, he lost the first Gulf War. And then the Western power somehow tried to implicate him, weapons of mass destruction, invade Iraq and kill him. Very similar story. In the Third Anglo-Mysore War, this guy is not killed but defeated. But the allies, especially the British, kept a close watch on what he was doing after that. This guy was consumed by the revenge to get back. And so in the process, he was writing these letters to Zaman Shah, the Afghan ruler, come and invade India. Over 2 years, let's, flush out the Kafirs from north and south. And then let's unite and form a Islamic caliphate, divide the whole subcontinent among ourselves. Emissaries to the Shah of Persia, to the ruler of Iran, all kinds of the Turkey Sultan and so on, and the Caliph, of course, and emissaries to Louis XVI's, court in France. And then this whole comedy that happens with this man called Ripaud, who comes from Mauritius, and he says he's an imposter and a thug. And everybody in his close circuit said, don't trust him. But this man trusts him. And there is a Jacobin club which is formed in Srirangapatna. Jacobins were the revolutionary branch in France after the French Revolution. And the Brits hated them because they were anti-royalty, anti-aristocracy and so on. So they form a Jacobin club, and there is a tree of equality or something that is planted in Srirangapatna. This guy is called Citizen Tipu. And they all circle around that tree and sing the French national anthem. So much for freedom fighter of India, singing French national anthems.
Anything to survive, right?
Yeah.
At that
and
stage.
Then this man, Report, tells him that in Mauritius there is a ready army of 10,000 people who are waiting to come and help you. And everybody, his courtier, said, no, he's a fraud, don't go. But this one doesn't trust. And so embassy is sent to Mauritius, the Isle of France. And on the way, this Report actually literally rips off a lot of the treasures which are there, and he suddenly disappears into thin air after they reach Mauritius. And the entire emissary, which was supposed to be a secret emissary, is completely made public by Malartic, who's the French governor there. It comes out as a Malartic proclamation, where clearly the deal is we will help Tipu to flush the British out of India and invade and make it ours. And out of the 10,000 that were promised, only 99 actually make their way back to Srirangapatna. Even then he doesn't realize that he's being fooled. He thinks those 99 are given a royal welcome in Mangalore and brought to the Srirangapatna. And then finally, these all are evidence, just like the weapons of mass destruction evidence that was collected against Saddam. They were saying they were intercepting these letters. He was writing to Napoleon Bonaparte. His replies were coming. So all this was documented and kept by Richard Wellesley. So let's go for the final kill. Let's not give him a chance like Cornwallis had done. So the Marathas don't participate in this. It's only the Nizam and the British who invade Srirangapatna in 1798-99. There also he tries his best. He's so prevaricating in his replies. He gives flippant replies to Wellesley. Wellesley tries to, put some sense into him, but he doesn't, listen to him. And finally, the Allied forces are right at the gate of Srirangapatna. And that's where, it's almost like a Greek tragedy, chapter by chapter, verse by verse unfolding. You have surrounded yourself with sycophants who don't give you good counsel. You're a megalomaniac with such a bloated self-image that you are probably as great as God himself. I can command the clouds to stop and all kinds of things like that. The fort of Srirangapatna is breached, and that is kept as a complete secret from him. The few stones are shown. And
What's he doing? Why is it a secret?
because he trusts somebody else, and he can't, he gives away after the third Anglo-Mysore war, all the intelligent people, many of them were Hindus and Brahmins, they were all removed. And in its place, illiterate, just if you were a Muslim, you were brought in. So the revenue collection suffered, the administration suffered, and the army, there was no merit to elevate someone to the army. So in the process, you had all these sycophants, Sultan, you are great, and this, that, and some of these French guys also who were there. And the British are there, and even on that morning of, they keep telling him, they keep telling him that, your father had also, when Khande Rao did what he did, he escaped to Bangalore, he regrouped. You also do that. And he was quite open to the idea. He had, arranged some of his favorite concubines and some elephants and treasures and all that to run away from one water gate, which was a secret gate. That also gets closed by Mir Sadiq, his prime minister. So those who say only the Hindus betrayed him, Mir Sadiq and Mir Nadim, who was a Kiledar, both of them also betrayed him. So everyone was fed up of this man who made such loony decisions, a megalomaniac and a psychopath almost, who took Tughlaqi farmans all the time. And on that morning of 4th May, there's so much of documentation around that, how his morning began. He thought it was just another day.
Who documented this? Did he write it himself? He couldn't have, because he left.
Yeah, a lot of it from his sons who wrote it. Some the British, interviewed. The British interviewed everybody, and they collected. Even Wilkes, interviews Purnaya. He interviews Rani Lakshmi Ammani. He interviews some of the Sardars of Tipu.
Of his last day.
Of his last day. Of everything that led to the run up.
What was he doing?
He was busy in pujas and incantations. He was studying his own horoscope and seeing that there's a transit of Mars which is going, and till the time it is going on, I don't know much of astrology, but whatever it says, that till it goes in that arch, the fort will hold on after that, and that hour had actually passed. And so he knew somewhere that, the end is near. And he's looking into a iron pot of oil, which they tell him, the nazar utarne ke liye or something, to take away all the bad luck. He is donating elephants to some Brahmins and some Muslim astrologers.
This sounds like Wajid Ali Shah, no?
Yeah, it's very, very Shakespearean, tragedy.
Tragedy.
For all the cruelty, these last hours are quite sad. And then he's about to, break his bread. And that's when they tell him that the enemy is at, shouting sight of, where they are. Then he's alarmed. He said, but they told me there's no breach. And then he realizes the treachery. He tries to run. He goes there, and the other gate, which was not locked, he tells Mir Nadim to open it, and he looks the other way. And that's when he realized that there is treachery. He has only his physician to accompany him, Raja Khan. And this guy, he mounts his favorite mare and goes out. And Raja Khan follows him, and there's a volley or something that hits the mare. The mare dies, and he also hurts his leg. His leg has already been hurt once in Travancore, where he fell off a palanquin at the Netum Kotta war, and he has a perennial limp all his life after that. So his leg is already in a bad state, and he falls, and Raja Khan tries to put him into a palanquin, but in the process both of them fall over each other, tumble over each other, and he literally goes and plonks himself amidst a heap of dead bodies. And those last...
It's a battlefield.
In the fort. In the fort, as he's trying to run away from the fort, and there's no other...